morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time you're watching this video. Thanks for clicking on this video. Thank you for joining me on the Penboy Roy Fountain Pen Review channel. I hope you guys enjoyed the last couple of weeks of fountain pen reviews. I wanted to deliver to you guys something that is more entertaining and is more tolerable than just 15 minutes of my face making noise at you guys regarding a fountain pen. Now, after doing this, I've decided that I'm going to continue making elaborate and more entertaining videos. However, what I did learn was that the response was great and it was well received, so I thank you. However, doing these videos consumes an exorbitant amount of time, as well as money and resources. So, while it's not feasible for me to do this every week, what I will do is I will put them out every couple of weeks, maybe once a month, maybe twice a month. What I want to do is, in the interim, put out review videos, and they're going to be of the standard format as you've seen before. So, I hope that's acceptable for you guys. Now, the subject of today's video is going to be this pen here. This is the Caran 849. This pen was purchased at Goldspot Pens at a discount in exchange for an honest, fair, unbiased review. Now, before I get into the neutral zone, the good, the bad, the ugly, and high noon on this pen, I want to go over some background information, starting with the brand. The brand Caran has been around since 1915. The founder of the company goes by the name of, I'm going to do my best here. I guess since it looks German, I have to pronounce the D with the Arnold Schweitzer. I think I got that one right. If you guys know how to pronounce that, let me know. Thanks. Now, the word Caran, spelled K-A-R-A-N-D-A-S-H, in Russian means pencil. They have been in business since then, and they make pencils and pens and, of course, fountain pens. That's the extensive background information I got for you. That's all I got. From here, we're going to move on to the neutral zone, that which is neither good or bad, or can be good or bad, depending on you. Let me start with the nib. This nib is a stainless steel nib. It is not a standard size nib. It is a proprietary nib. The nib does not have a breather hole. It doesn't have much branding on it. All it has is the hexagonal logo that Caran is known for. And it also looks a bit like a Lamy nib. On this pen, there are 3 points of branding. One is going to be on the nib, as I said before. Another on the top of the pen, where the finial is, and that also is a hexagonal design. And the last one is a little less obvious. It's right underneath the clip that's on the pen cap. The entire pen as a whole has a hexagonal shape. It looks a lot like a pencil. It also, in your hand, feels a lot like a pencil or even a Bic pen. The grip section is a black injection molded plastic grip section. It seems to be made using the cheapest plastic known to mankind. On the bottom of the pen, you have also a metal round circular end finial that has no adornments, it's just plain. The clip is attached using what looks like a robot claw grabbing onto the hexagon of the pen. Initially, I had worried that this clip would slide up and down or come off, but upon closer inspection, what you'll see is right underneath where the bend is, there's a little tiny bolt securing the entire clip into the cap of the pen, so it's not going to be moving around. The entirety of the pen, with the exception of the grip section, is made of what looks like a very light and thin aluminum. It also appears as though it was painted using old-fashioned painting methods. It doesn't look like it was anodized aluminum like you would see in, I don't know, a Caran Custom or other pens where the color is actually fused onto the metal. This one here, it looks like it's painted, and there's evidence of it. Because if you look at the bends of the hexagon, what you'll notice is slight shades of pooling when the paint goes over the corner and settles a little bit. Now, some people may not like actual painted pens, and some people might prefer anodization, and some people might not. I think it's cool because it does bring me back to when I was in grade school, and I would have like a new pencil, and I would look at the pencil, and it would be different colors or whatnot, and the paint wouldn't be even right at the corners. It's not aesthetically unpleasing, but it's evidence that it wasn't anodized and it was painted. Going back to the cap. The cap is a snap cap closing pen. Now, whenever you close it, it makes a snap or a click. Whatever this sound is, I don't know what it's called. but it makes that noise. It's secure, it's firm, yet at the same time it's light. Now the same cannot be said for when you post it. When you post it, it makes a smaller cap, click, snap, sound, and it is secure while you're writing. However, if you shake it, you'll notice you can hear it wiggle. Now, no matter how much you shake it, the cap isn't going to go flying off. You can't shake it violently enough so that it falls off. Maybe if you flip it down, it could, but with your normal writing and daily usage, you won't be shaking the pen this violently. And if you do, you might want to consider using a crayon instead. Now, another interesting fact about this cap, and some may like it, some may not, is when you do close it, what you're going to have is a little aluminum sleeve that you can actually see. It goes into the body of the pen between the grip section and the rest of the body. Makes it look neat. You can line up the facets with each other. I think it's an interesting aspect. Some people may not like it, and some people may. The reason why people may not like it is because of that aspect. What you end up having is a much larger than necessary step right where the grip section meets the body of the pen. This pen is filled using a cartridge converter. It's international sized. There's no eyedropping, obviously, because of all the metal parts that are inside the pen. The pen comes inside of this red box here. When you first get the pen, it's going to be shrink wrapped in plastic, at least mine was. The pen sits on top of a zigzag piece of cardboard. What's included inside is one blue branded Caran ink cartridge. That is all. The 849 is a very light, it is a very thin pen. Some may like heavier pens, some may like lighter pens. So it could be good or bad. So that's all I got for you with regard to the neutral zone. Moving on to the good, the bad, the ugly, starting with the good. Those elements about the pen that are good. Let me start with the nib. Now, this pen's nib, right out of the box, when I first got it, showed up to play. There's no issues, there's no hard starts, there's no baby's bottom, there's no skipping, there's no ink starvation. You name an issue and it wasn't there. It's a very smooth nib, yet at the same time it does have some feedback to it. It's generously wet, but I wouldn't say too wet, and it's definitely not on a moderate to dry side. The line width is compensatory to your standard Euro fine nibs that you see out there. Another aspect that I really like about this line of pens is it comes in a lot of various different colors. The colors are sapphire blue, white, black, fluorescent orange, fluorescent pink, fluorescent yellow, and of course, fluorescent green. What's really good about this pen, and I really like about it, is it's a very good everyday writer. It's also a very good everyday beater pen. So you can take this pen, throw it in your pocket, throw it in your purse, throw it in your gym bag, throw it in your school bag, throw it anywhere. It'll be fine. It's a sturdy pen despite how light it is. What I enjoy about this pen is that when you post it or unpost it, the balance is unaffected. It is almost indiscernible. So if you like posting pens, this is perfect. If you don't like posting pens, guess what? This one's perfect also. So it's so light, the balance is virtually unaffected no matter how it is that you use the pen. Doesn't roll off the table. Thought I'd mention that. Now here's another thing I want to mention. The overall quality control. Listen to what I said. Quality control, not actual quality, is spot on. Looking over this pen, there is nothing about it that I can find that is defective or shouldn't be there. I'll speak on the quality later. Now moving on to the bad. Let's talk coin. This pen sells for $51.95 at Gold Spot Pens. It's approximately $52, give or take a nickel or a dime here or there, throughout the retailers in the United States. Now the issue I have with this pen isn't so much the price point, because $52 is not a bad price for this pen. What I have issue with is, one, the packaging. It opens up and all you have inside is a little ink cartridge. This ink cartridge is all by its lonesome self in the packaging. There was also no material, such as instructions, warranty information, a thank you card, a piece of paper telling me I'm a loser. Nothing. I do feel that even though it's a $52 pen, I think the presentation could have been done a little better. Compare it to the Pilot Metropolitan. You get a Pilot Metropolitan, you have a cardboard sleeve. Inside you have a plastic box with foam inside. There's literature, there's a converter in the pen, and there's also an ink cartridge. Oh yeah, this pen doesn't have a converter that goes with it. So for $52, I also think that there should definitely have been a converter. So that way you have the option of using your own inks, or you could use the ink cartridges if you so choose. But the choice should be up to you. If a $25 pen can do so, then why not a $52 pen? So I threw a Jinhao converter in this puppy out of spite. Not that there's anything wrong with Jinhao pens. I also think that this pen doesn't know or isn't entirely clear on who it's going after. What I mean is this. This pen is very vibrant. It's very trendy. It's very cool, bright, and it seems appropriate for a person who is in college or even high school or even a beginning business professional who likes trendy, vibrant, lively, spirited stuff. Now, say they're starting off into the fountain pen world. This would not be a good pen for them because this pen has what's called a sweet spot on the nib, meaning when you write with it, if as you write, you rotate it just a little bit, you're now lifting one of the two tines off the page and interrupting the ink flow. This oftentimes gets confused for ink starvation, hard starts, baby's bottom, or skipping, which is not the case. So while it does look like it's appropriate for someone who's newer or younger or trendier, it doesn't write like a pen that is appropriate for someone who doesn't have experience writing with different and various types of nibs and fountain pens. Now, conversely, this pen does write like a pen that is appropriate for someone who's been experienced and used many fountain pen nibs and fountain pens. However, it doesn't look the part for a pen that is maybe more appropriate for someone who likes a pen that looks and feels, in addition to writing, like a pen that is compensatory to the cost paid for it, if not more. So it's kind of a contradiction to both sides. Now that's all I got for the bad. Moving on to the ugly. Aspects about this pen that should not be, but are. Now, like I said before, this pen's quality control is spot on. I couldn't find anything that I could say is there that shouldn't have left the factory and into a consumer's hands. However, there is something that I do want to talk about. I want to talk about the grip section. As I said before, the grip section is injection molded, and there is harsh evidence of such if you look at the grip section threads. Now, when I first got this pen and unscrewed the threads, what I did notice was there was an extreme amount of friction and resistance. That resistance was coming from the plastic threads of the grip section, rubbing against the body's aluminum threads. What would happen is that friction would cause scraping of the threads of the plastic, leaving remnants of the plastic on the threads in the form of somewhat powdery substance. Don't worry, it wasn't anthrax. But what would happen is, over time, as I kept unscrewing and screwing the grip section into the body, this eventually stopped happening. Once it stopped happening, it hasn't happened again, and the threading is much more smooth and maintains the secureness. Now, it's not that big of a deal, but what I think happened was you had some Swiss dude pouring in plastic beads into a mold, melting it, shaping the grip section, takes it out, and tosses it into a bucket filled with 1,000 other molds of grip sections. There was no polishing, there was no meticulous work done to the grip section. After all, it is only a $52 pen. However, I don't believe that unscrewing and screwing the threads and smoothing it out yourself just by the natural process of using the pen should be something that you have to even consider or experience. That should have been done at the factory. It's high noon. Decision-making time. Should you or should you not pull the trigger on the Caran 849 fountain pen? This one is a tough question to answer, and there's almost 3 answers. There is my general answer that blankets everybody. There's also the answer that I think applies to person type A, and another answer that applies to person type B. Let me start with the general answer that's going to sound like a cop-out. Yes, pull the trigger on this pen. If this pen is in fact a fair representation of all the pens within the line, then I say it is absolutely a good call and you won't lose out. Now, having said that, I also have to say I can't speak on the consistency of this pen with the brand's line. Meaning, if I had 10 Metropolitans, every single one would write like the one before it. This is the only Caran pen I've ever owned, so I don't know if I had 10 of these would each one be identical or not. All I can say is this one is fantastic. if in fact it's a fair representation of all the pens within the line and they are all consistent. Now, second part of the answer. Person type A. If you're a young business professional, college student, or high school student who likes young, vibrant looking, trendy stuff, then yes, this pen is a fantastic pen for you. However, due to the fact that the nib is a little bit more sophisticated than your standard starter pen, such as a Metropolitan that costs half the price, it could put off a person who is in fact newer, younger, not experienced with fountain pens. So it's kind of a contradiction. It looks the part for that person, but it doesn't actually play the part. Conversely, if you're a business professional and you're a person who's experienced in fountain pens and you like a pen that's more compensatory to a higher end pen or a sophisticated pen or a pen that writes like this but doesn't look like this, you're kind of out of luck. Now there's the third part of that answer. If you're the type of person who enjoys a writing experience and can appreciate different looks that a pen has to offer, then yes, this pen is good for you because you can also enjoy the writing experience it offers, and it can be considered a blending of two different tastes. Pull the trigger on the pen? Yes. Pull the trigger on the pen if you don't have experience? No. Pull the trigger on the pen if you do have experience and want eloquent, classy looking pens? No. Pull the trigger on the pen if you're the type of person who is open to any kind of pen as long as it writes really well? Yes. This pen isn't an everybody pen, for sure. I really appreciate this pen. I enjoy this pen. So, there's your answer. Don't forget about the exclusive Penboy Roy Fountain Pen Review Channel discount code. The way it works is this. You're going to email me at penboyroy@gmail.com. I'm going to email you back a code. You're going to pick up the telephone with this code. You're going to call Gold Spot Pens. You're going to hit 207#, and you're going to get to a nice lady named Dawn Johnson. She and only she can coordinate this discount for you. This discount is exclusive to Penboy Roy subscribers, and it is not offered to the general public. Some exclusions apply. So that was my review of the Caran 849. I hope this video helped. Be well, be safe.